What is the role of diet in spiritual progress? Is ritualistic fasting necessary? Does non-veg food consumption block spiritual progress? Many people have these kind of doubts. So let us have a discussion on this. First, I would like to ask my student, those who are there online, probably Saurindra can start. What do you feel, Saurindra?
Sir, diet is obviously very necessary, sir, because as they say, uh, what we eat
Hmm.
that directly affect our mind. Uh, so here, sir, I would like to share my personal experience.
Yes.
So, a few months later, there was a time when my mind was completely deluded. I was not able to think properly what to do, what to not to do. I went to you, sir. Somehow you, sir, guided me very, I can't say, like, just you told me some two or three sentences, maybe, sir.
Okay.
But here I am today, completely doing fine. And however, you didn't mention me to do this, any diet or change any diet, anything. You just told to do what my duty is. But somehow I changed my diet also.
Okay.
It has been some months I am following proper vegetarian and sattvic diet, and I am feeling very good, sir. I am feeling very good, very energetic, and nothing blockage or duality in my mind. Feeling very happy, sir. So yes, I would say that yes, it matters, and it helps us to think with clarity, to think properly, and bring a balance in our body.
So, what is your answer to this? Is ritualistic fasting necessary? Yes or no? And what does non-veg food consumption block spiritual progress?
This ritualistic word I am not getting, sir.
Ritualistic means people do fasting, that today is this vrata,
Hemant.
today is Ekadashi, today is
Yes, 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 surely. Surely it's necessary, sir.
sorry. Even different religions, people do Ramzan, people do.
Hmm. So different religions are based on different areas or places of earth. So they are on different areas, equator or different places. So they are fasting according to this that place. Our is on our place. That's the
So
way,
your
sir.
answer is yes to that. And does non-veg food consumption block spiritual progress? Your answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let us hear from Tarana.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody. So, sir, first of all, I'm glad to tell you one thing. Today is Ekadashi, and I always keep fasting on Ekadashi.
Hmm.
So, that is how I can explain my experience. Definitely, diet helps in spiritual progress. I was a core non-vegetarian.
Hmm.
Like hard lover of non-vegetarian. Like then when I came to yoga and all, I started dropping the non-veg thing. Uh, like in very subtle level, I saw the changes. It is not gross. I won't say about weight lose and all, but in very subtle level, I saw the changes. My arrogant behavior, my rude behavior, everything got changed, and my skin complexion. It is like for girls, it is very necessary to tell. Everything got changed, and yeah, definitely ritualistic fasting is also necessary because from my experience, when I do Ekadashi every month, 2 times, the like my mind becomes like it feels like my mind is a ocean, and there is no waves on that day.
Oh, ho, ho.
Totally stable, like, and it's a kind of tapa also. At that day only I get so many invitations and all, but still I tend to stay with my fasting. So yeah, it definitely helps. Obviously non-veg food blocks spiritual progress, as Krishna also mentioned, jaisa an vaisa man. So yeah.
Okay. So both the students have given their answers. Dr. Avinash, who is, a psychiatrist, let us hear from him.
Supravatam Sarvesham.
Yes.
Sir, it's a very important question. I think I have had these discussions with my non-vegetarian friends, and I had to like at certain point, I like there is a point where they stop agreeing and they just want to continue whatever they want. So over a period of time, I have stopped having these discussions because it doesn't matter. It has to come by within that they have to do. So role of diet in spiritual progress, actually role of diet being a human, multiple domains it what we assume, because we are what diet is what we are made of. Annamaya kosha is of diet, so whatever we eat is what we are. So in terms of, even we start with the scientific only, sir, because gut brain axis, there are a lot of studies now going on, and it has been quite well studied that whatever we are eating is um, having a lot of things to do with our emotions and even our physical health. So physical health indirectly affects our mental health. So definitely, if both are affected, spiritual progress is again halted. Ritualistic fasting is, and in terms of religious purposes, I think in as our friends already mentioned, almost every religion has a particular set of things, and like Tarana was mentioning, I also do my fasting. I am a ritualistic fasting person. So I'm able to do since last 16 years. I'm able to follow through this. But some of the things that I have in my own personal experience, I have gained is during those days with fasting. I think we should do a lot of religious bar spiritual practices. If we, with fasting, if we start doing other things, I think those are the days when my emotions are even stirred much more. Otherwise the emotions are such a calm state. I feel that I can do much more on the days my focus is only on the divine things. Those are the days I feel much more calmer. So I think when we are fasting, all our energy is channelized to the mind and the brain, and we are more focused on one particular thing. It helps with that, because when we are fasting, the blood circulation goes to other parts of the body, and especially the vast part is the abdomen and the digestive system. So if that is restricted, it goes to the brain, and I think that will help in fasting. If you are doing as a spiritual and even as a physical part also, it helps out clear of all the toxins. So in that way it is good. Non-veg, this is one question. There are a lot of dilemma even in our practices also. Evolutionary, we see that uh, homo sapiens, it is well established that scientifically we are not we cannot digest non-veg food is what it has been. And even our dental cavity has changed as per the, we become herbivorous more of. But there are conflicting evidences in some parts of our own Indian culture. So that is one question. I'm also in search of answers, sir, because they mentioned that in Vedic culture they used to give off cows, and Swami Vivekananda in fact told it doesn't matter. So I think in initial phases, at least as part of Yama, you have to keep that practices, even whatever comes to you. It might be savory, but if you are able to hold on, that is part of Yama you have to follow. But later on, it doesn't matter, is what I feel. But I don't know. As part of Homo sapiens scientifically, I think that it is not necessary. It definitely, Krishna also tells in Bhagavad Gita also that what I am there in the stomach. The digestive power of stomach is me. So whatever you put will make you what you are. So we have in multiple places diet being a major role. So these are small things I am able to recollect.
Thank you, Dr. Avinash, sharing your knowledge, your experience with us. So here, Dr. Avinash brought in one important point. There is a difference, my dear friends, in taking the statements of the people who have reached the state. Hmm. Once you reach a certain state, whatever you do, you are so detached. You are so detached that your system is not affected by it. So, we should not take people who have already reached that state and then they are utilizing their freedom of doing whatever they want because they are in one consciousness. In that consciousness, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, nothing matters because they have established themselves in that. Hmm? But as a beginner, as a sadhaka, when you want to begin and try to reach that state, then it becomes very difficult. It is like, you want to learn to fly an aeroplane and you directly just simulate the expert pilot who has been going at a huge height, and suddenly you want to drive like him, then you will meet with an accident. If you want to become a pilot, you have to learn step by step, go slowly. And sometimes people who are really learned pilots, they do certain things which the beginner people cannot do. If they do, it will be very risky. So in that way, people who have already reached that state, it may be, it may not be ideal to follow them what they do, but we have to look at the scriptures. Scripture should become our guiding force in this direction. Let me hear from Brinda, our another MSc student, and then we will hear from Gandhi sir and then Suryaji.
Good morning, all. Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I believe that it plays a very important role. I remember I quit non-veg because I'd seen people chopping it for ritual sacrifice. So out of moral morality, I quit non-veg. But I saw myself changing. I was 12, 13 when I quit. So my focus improved and relations with others. Some goodness in me improved after quitting non-veg, and slowly I started getting interest towards yoga and all that, and fasting, which is something I've never been able to do, but I definitely know it will test my endurance and willpower. Yes, sir. This much I have to say.
Thank you, Brinda. So all the MSc students, feel that non-veg food can block spiritual progress. But the debate that I want to initiate here, like Dr. Avinash was saying, that there are religions where non-veg is consumed, and there are spiritual people there. Like we see that in Buddhism, people do take chicken and all and meditate. Similarly, we see that in Christianity, in Islam. So the question is, what is the effect that this non-veg kind of food has? And we should be able to look at it from all the directions. Hmm? Okay, let us hear from,
अभय अभय बोलतो.
yeah, Abhayji, बोला बोला.
हा सर, आपल्याला वाढदिवसाच्या हार्दिक शुभेच्छा. आज आज सर आळंदीची यात्रा आहे महाराष्ट्रात. संजीवन समाधी आहे ज्ञानेश्वर माऊलीची.
ओहो हो
तर
हो
आज एकादशी आहे आणि त्या आहे ना, तुम्ही प्रश्न खूप छान विचारला आज.
हो
योगायोगानं एकादशी असते म्हणून. आणि एक पुण्यात एक कार्डियक सर्जन आहे ते इनामदार म्हणून. तर
हा
आपल्याकडं पंढरपूर ते आळंदी ते पंढरपूर किंवा विदर्भातून सगळ्या वारे विठ्ठलाला जातात तिथं. तर
ओहो
त्यांनी एक सर्च केलाय सर की जेवढे 10 लाख असो, 8 लाख, 5 लाख जेवढे वारकरी तिथं जातात, तर
हा
ते एकाही वारकऱ्याला अटॅक येत नाही, जाताना सुद्धा येताना सुद्धा. तर काय येत नाही, तर ते पायी जातात आणि टाळ्या वाजवत जातात. तर त्या टाळ्याचा इफेक्ट त्यांच्या हार्टवर होतो आणि एकही ब्लॉकेज राहत नाही.
ओहो हो हो
तर त्याच्यामुळे त्यांनी खूप चांगलं सर्च केलेलं आहे. डॉक्टर इनामदार सिनियर कार्डिओलॉजिस्ट
वा
पुण्यातले आहेत ते. आणि दुसरं सर हे सांगायचं होतं की इथं काही भागात आपल्याकडं मोठी एकादशी असते पंढरपूरची, आणि
हा
काही वेळेला बकरी ईद सुद्धा येते त्याच दिवशी, बहुतेक
हो
वेळेला येते एकादशी.
हो
तर महाराष्ट्रात काही गावं अशी आहेत की बकरी ईद त्या दिवशी साजरी करत नाहीत, कारण नॉनव्हेज खाणारे खूप मुस्लिम आहेत. तर ते नाही म्हणतात ह्या वारकऱ्यासाठी आम्ही नाही खाणार, आम्ही दुसऱ्या दिवशी करू.
हो 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 हो
म्हणजे ते सुद्धा आहे सर इथं ते. आणि मी म्हणजे बर्थ पासूनही मी व्हेजिटेरियनच आहे. आम्ही घरात कुणी खात नाही. आमचा वारकरी संप्रदाय आहे.
हो
ज्ञानेश्वर माऊलीचे भक्त आहेत आम्ही.
हो हो
आणि ते नॉनव्हेजला कधी हे करत नाहीत. आणि नॉनव्हेज खाल्ल्याने सर काय होतं, स्वभाव एक रागीट, चिडचिडा, आणि त्या
हा
नॉनव्हेजचा परिणाम त्या जे काय खाल ते म्हणजे ते त्या पक्षाचा किंवा प्राण्याचा परिणाम त्या माणसाच्या बुद्धीवर किंवा त्याच्या कृतीवर होतो. ते अग्रेसिव्ह होतो सर माणूस.
हो हो हो
जे काय लोक हे आहेत म्हणजे आपण बघतो जे हे म्हणजे काय म्हणतात त्याला आपण, जास्त जे मर्डर करणारे किंवा गोळ्या घालणारे हे जे काय लोक आहेत तर त्यांची बुद्धी त्या नॉनव्हेज खाऊन 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 त्या दिशेला चालते सर. तोच जर भाविक असेल तर नको म्हणतो ह्याला कशाला मारायचं आपण, नको बाबा त्याचा जीव जाईल. पण जीव घेणारे लोक आणि जीव खाणारे लोक आहेत त्यांना त्या जीवाचं काय वाटत नाही, त्याच्यामुळे ते त्याला गोळी घालणार आणि मारणार त्याला.
हो हो हो,
एवढंच
खूप
सांगायचं
सुंदर, खूप सुंदर.
सर. धन्यवाद सर. थँक्यू.
Abhay Palwankar ji, brought in, he says that he is a devotee of Jnaneshwar and in their family they never eat non-veg, but he, in his experience, feels that if you are consuming non-veg food, then somewhere, you become careless about the other life. If you can kill an animal and eat, then slowly such kind of people only later on, start killing human beings also, because for them, life doesn't matter. So he says that in his observation, non-veg food consumption would have brought in certain changes in the mind, making the person less sensitive to life. Okay. So let's
Good
hear
morning,
from
sir.
Gandhi, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It is controversial
Yes.
because nearly more than 75 to 80% of the people are in the world are depending upon the non-veg, and about only 25% we can expect are vegetarian. So when such is the case, and to bring vegetarianism is very difficult. But as the body now, as it grows old and diseases are more, and the doctors advise they avoid the red meat or meat, animal meat and all. That is one side the for the health conscious. And so if you come to in the spirituality, the role of diet, the balanced diet is more important. The wholesome grains and wholesome fruits and raw vegetables are very good for the spirituality. And also the balanced diet will give rise to a good mentality and balanced emotions. That is the, and also they say that the spiritual corrections is there. But so as our Vedas and all, they bring that ahimsa is true sacrifice for religion to teach us the that even birds and beasts are our brethren. So they say that they are brethren. And as I read recently, all the life is sacred and must be respected. In that, the Chinese says the practice of religion involves as a first principle is loving and compassionate art for all creatures. So not only humans, all creatures. If you see our mythology and gods and goddesses, devas, all of them are having either some birds or rat or animal. That means you should respect. They will be having that vahana, like a cow or a bird or a musika. That means you respect all those animals. That is the reason our ancient spirituality, they told that you should not kill those people, that animals also you should respect. And I had read in one saying, if you stop killing the goats, all the goats will get up and will both the ants they will wish you, and they will namaste they will do. So that's what one sage says. But so, coming to the regarding the fasting, so of course in Hinduism, even Buddhism also they say, but later they cultivated that so we can eat pork, we can eat chicken, or we can eat bird, and so to meet the demands of our food, so we doesn't have. And as we read recently, also the kangaroos are increased in enormous amount in Australia and New Zealand. So they has to nothing but to do kill and so make a meat and export and make a money also that is there, and fulfill the desires of the Chinese also it is there.
Yes.
And coming to the fasting, yeah, fasting is good, and once in month or 1 week if they do it, and if you that is one type of cleansing the your digestive system and also giving a rest to your digestive system. That one way it is a good for the health also, and lot of benefits are there out of the fasting. And also those who are doing fasting regularly can reduce their weight also. They are studied in many research also they be done. So fasting is good. Of course, as the people who are suffering from the other diseases and like diabetes, they are advised not to do the fasting. The fasting is not advised in the diabetic patients. That's what I say. And ultimately, I I cannot those who cannot stop the non-vegetarian. I will not say that it is a hindrance. I cannot say it is completely hindrance. Only a balanced diet is more important for the progress of the spiritualism. But they should avoid the what we call as the in those days they used to tell the yogis not to take coffee or tea which stimulates, and alcohol. All those things should be avoided. Which gives intoxication, and drugs like the ganja or LSD and all those things should be avoided. That's what the yogis used to advise also. But to get the tranquility, some yogis they used to take opium, and also they used to cultivate the ganjas also. We have seen some yogis also. They are also known as a spiritual people. But in that also there is a controversial is there. This spiritualism, you should have a calm mentality, and which food which produces calm and emotional and equanimity. That's a type of the food only we have to take, and which suits for you is the most important. Not all the food will not suit for you. All for all the people, the same food will not be suit also.
Yes, yes,
That's what
Gandhi sir.
my
Thank you, Gandhi sir. Gandhi sir brought in, two important issues, some controversial issues here, which we should discuss. One important point is regarding, he said that the substances that have been used earlier days, see, we have to understand again the same thing comes. Those who have reached the final stage, they should not be imitated. We are beginners, we are sadhaka. Hmm? And those who used to practice those kind of things, they are advanced stage, they are therein. That is one point of, use of ganja and other things. Second important point is that in those days, the kind of plants that were available, they were so pure, but right now, everywhere you are able to take weed. That weed is adulterated, and there is, through genetic engineering, there are two chemicals in weed. One is CBD and one is THC. So the naturally, it is the THC which has the component that gives that high to them, and that also makes a person more prone for developing psychotic illnesses. And the CBD is the component that has a healing kind of a effect. So through engineering, these peddlers, what they do is they increase the THC component because they make the person more addictive so that they should buy more of it. And therefore, no matter how meditative a person is, if he thinks that he is, becoming like a Shiva and, a yogi, and he is taking substances and he is able to meditate more, I am 100% sure that he is going towards the path of becoming a psychotic individual, because nowhere in this world now you can get those kind of pure herbs that were available at that time, when Shiva and other people used to meditate. So therefore, this kind of shortcuts are completely prohibited in the path of yoga. They are always 100% counterproductive in my experience. Second point, as you said, that people who are, in the because of their culture, from the family, from childhood, who are taking non-veg and find it difficult to quit. Ahimsa is one of the dharma, ahimsa is the paramo dharma. So here, one very important thing one has to realize is how to cause least violence. The more evolved a creature is, the more he is like a human being, the more emotion the creature has, and the more, violence the creature can feel. So therefore, the more evolved creature one kills and eat, I personally feel that it has those emotions that are there in the creature at the time when the creature is killed. those emotions are absorbed into the skin, into the muscles of the creature, and they enter into the person. So that vibration, that energy is there. So for such people who, find it very difficult to quit it, I would say that go to the least evolved kind of animal, but it would be well and good, according to Bhagavad Gita. If you see, we will discuss that very quickly. Radha ji and Surya ji, I would like to hear from you, but keep it brief and quick. Okay? Yes, Radha ji.
Sir, just want to say that we have to see the purpose, whether you are doing diet or whatever thing. Because when you are in the ritual or spiritual, we have that achara, vichara, ahara, vivahara, vihara. So we have to focus on that. And food is not, is it, first you have to think that food is for body or for self. If it is body, then yeah, what kind of job you are doing, it depends on that. Suppose if you are an army person, he need that kind of food to maintain that job. So he may need it. It depends upon the vritti what we are doing. And if you are in yoga line, the first four yama, niyama, asana, pranayama is for body. The other four pratyahara, dhyana, dharana, and samadhi is to know the self and to inculcate yourself. And if you go through this ahimsa, satya, steya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, so we have to see the senses. We are see the senses. It will help you to when you feel like to have some food. When you observe the mindfully, then is body asking or yourself asking? So your emotions are looking to crave that food or to have that food. Body will never ask you have to take this food or that food, but only we self are thinking. So food is to live life, but food itself is not life, sir. And we have to observe the dopamines. Taking this food, we have some get of dopamine, but other things also we are doing, we can get all these dose hormones. So because of, if you are taking a good food but your life management, your emotions or your aggression is not controlled, then what is the use of taking on satvika food, satvika ahara? It is better to any kind of food. Actually, if you see this, Gandhi sir said as a controversy, it's not that what kind of food you are taking, depending upon the vritti you can take, but you have to observe your emotions, how you are behaving. There, that is important. If you are doing all this in progressive life and ritual or yoga, so we have to see the senses and your thinking. If you are able to control, if you are giving the affirmation, I can stay, I can stay. If I cannot stay, you are giving a negative affirmation, then you cannot stay, obviously. This is what, sir. Fastly I told. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Radha, brought in a very important point, saying that the purpose that you are doing also decides your diet. If the purpose is spiritual evolution, then ahimsa becomes a very, very important domain. And then probably, see, as I feel my own body, we want to take care of our body so much. If anything hurts on the body, we really feel bothered about it. In the same way,
And
the other
yes,
creature also feels that it is his body. Even if it is, a small insect, for that insect, that body is insect's body. If you see a small cockroach also and you want to kill, with how much intensity the cockroach wants to save its body. So for every creature, the body is as important and as precious as your body is for you. So that insight has to come. If the person is really spiritual, we have to understand that if someone is weak and we take advantage of that weakness and abuse that person, then through the karma laws, it happens that we are also abused by people who are more powerful than us in our life. So, in fact, I was hearing a spiritual discourse where one of the Swamiji said that a lot of wars happened in this world. Main reason, the person said, is because we consume a lot of non-veg food, and because human being, rather than taking care of other beings, they started abusing them. Then the more powerful human beings killed the less powerful human beings. This was the way that the karma got neutralized. So therefore, we have to think of the things properly. Another thing that Radha brought in is what purpose, what is the goal where you want to reach? if the goal is to become a soldier, if you want to go to army and your only job is to kill the enemy, and there you do not want those soft emotions to come within you, and you want to numb all the emotions within you, then consume lot of non-veg, consume these substances, and then go for a war. So that really serves the purpose. But if you're in your life, if you want subtle emotions to come up, you want tears of joy, tears of love and compassion to come into your heart, then probably, yes, non-veg food will block those emotions. I have seen that people who consume non-veg become intellectually very sharp, but they find it very difficult to have those subtle emotions of bhakti in them. You know, in fact, people have come to me and they say that I don't know what happened. I go through some sad situations. I see my loved ones suffer, but I cannot cry. The tears simply do not come into me. It is because those subtle bhavas, the rasas, subtle rasas, they get blocked and the more evolved the animal that you eat, the more intensely they are blocked. But
They'll become like apathy, no, sir?
yes, yes, apathy comes up. But if that is the job you are doing, if that is what you want in life, if you really, then probably that is the way out. So this is what I think. Prachi, would you want to say anything quickly, or can I go ahead? Yeah.
Uh, Good morning, sir. Sir, all the points are covered, so you can please go ahead. And
Thank
I
you.
want to wish you a very happy, healthy birthday and best wishes to Nishita ma'am and to the baby. Thank you, sir.
Sir, one request actually, I want to ask this. We have one story in the scriptures. One sadhu ate the food in thief house. So in next morning he steal the things, and after crossing the village outskirts, then he realized what I have done. I mean, can you relate the story, sir? Is that then he realizes, oh, I mean, with his meditation and all, he'll come to know that, oh, I have eaten the food from the thief house, so that's why my mind made me to do this such thing. So, is that related? Can you explain it, sir? Because as food came.
No, it has been given a lot of value in ancient Indian tradition, that you should be very careful in what you are putting into your mouth, with what bhava it is given by whom, and with what bhava has the person given you. Because people were very, very sensitive. They were able to really observe subtle changes in their thinking patterns. This kind of thing comes in by Swami Paramhamsa Yogananda in his book Autobiography of a Yogi, also describes several experiments with food, where he just tried juice, grape juice for 3 days fasting, and he felt that on the third day he had so much love for everybody, and he was able to connect to God with so much depth, and his bhakti and his bhavas, which were always suppressed within him, came onto the surface. We always feel that I have that in me, I have, but it is not coming out. Somewhere, those subtle bhavas are blocked by our dietary patterns. We are not sensitive about it. So definitely that sensitivity is required. As people were saying here, Bhagavad Gita very beautifully takes us in the 17th chapter, saying, Yajante satvika devan, aksharam kshansi rajasaha, pretan bhut ganashchaiva, yajante tamasa janaha. So there are three kinds of people here, and depending on their mode, the mind, the way their mind functions, they have their own idols. Like uh, uh, Sattvic people, they worship devas, they follow devas. Rajasic people follow yakshas and rakshasas, whereas the tamasic people follow pretan and bhutgana. What does it mean in the practical life? If you see, all of us, if you ask, have our own, ideal people who inspire us, and we want to become like that. If you ask group of people like that, there are variety of people. There are people who would tell you that APJ Abdul Kalam is my ideal, or Mahatma Gandhi is my ideal. There are also people who would say that my ideal is Bill Gates. So those are Sattvic people. Here Bill Gates or Elon Musk, They are Rajasic people. They are my ideals because they have fulfilled their desire and I want to fulfill my desire. Yakshas are people who are artistic, like my ideal is Lata Mangeshkar, or some famous pop singer like Michael Jackson. They come under Rajasic quality. And you will also find people who are big fan of Dawood Ibrahim. People even worship terrorists. Once they kill people, then they are considered as heroes in some community. So that is a tamasic kind of a group. Now, whoever is your ideal, you will take diet accordingly to become like that. Devas are the people who are very sensitive, who are very subtle, who want subtle emotions to cultivate within them, and they want to enjoy the subtler aspect of life and grow there. But Rakshasas are people who are insensitive. For them, what matters is whether my desire will be fulfilled or not, whether my goal, my dreams will be fulfilled or not. Whereas once you come into a tamasic kind of a mindset, then the only intense pleasure the person gets it by hurting others. Hurting others, when others are pulled down, that gives me happiness. So once that mindset sets in, then the diet required to promote those ideas also become like that. And Krishna also says that you should follow Shastra. Sometimes people get into Ghor Tapa also without following the Shastric rituals and hurt their body and the divine residing in their body. Those extreme are also not required. You should always have a balanced approach. So once in 2 weeks, if you are fasting on a Ekadashi, it is well and good. But then people go into such extremes where they, do not eat at all for many days, or they uh, try to perform things which are too intense on their body, making their body very weak and reaching such a level where they cannot even fulfill their duties. So sharira madhyam khalu dharma sadhanam. For dharma sadhana, a fit body, a healthy body is very much required. So one should not go to the other extreme also. And then Krishna, of course, describes the quality of three kinds of food. These are the kind of food which are liked by those kind of people. So sattvic people who worship devas, who have those kind of people as their ideal, such kind of people, they prefer ayuhu sattva bal arogya priti vivardhanaha. The food that increases lifespan, that increases sattva bala, means the clarity of the mind. It makes you arogya, and sukha and priti vivardhana, happiness and satisfaction increases. Such food, what are its quality? They are rasyaha, they are juicy, succulent, filled with lot of water. Sthira, once you eat them, you do not feel restless, and they, gives you a feeling of satiety. Hridyaha, they are naturally, person sees them and has a natural liking and a desire to eat them. These are the ahara liked by sattvic people. Then he describes katu, very bitter, very sour, amla, lavana, too salty, ati ushna, dry, and vidahinaha, means filled with chili. Once you eat that kind of a food, you feel a burning sensation. You sweat a lot once you eat that kind of a food. So such food, ahara rajya seshta, such kind of food are liked by people who are attached to the mode of action, to the selfish mode of doing things. And what is the result he gives? Dukha shokamaya prada. Ultimately, it will lead to pain, grief, shoka, means depression. Ultimately, people become depressed. Initially, it stimulates, but afterwards, people become depressed. That is what Krishna says. And diseases also come up, inflammatory conditions, all those kind of condition, stomach ulcers and liver problems. Alcohol falls under this quality. Then यातयामम गतरसम पूति पर्युषितम च यत् उच्छिष्टम अपि च अमेध्यम भोजनम तामसप्रियम. Food that has lost its vitality and freshness, kept for more than 2 yama. Yama is 3 hours. So in a day, there are 8 yamas through which one day goes. And beyond 2 yamas, the quality of the food goes down and it starts developing tamasic qualities. Similarly, the food that has lost its juices, it has become dried. Paryushitan, not looking good, looks polluted, leftover of others, all these kind of food have a dulling effect on the system. Once you have eaten this food once, for hours together, you feel that the stomach has not digested it. The food still lies in the stomach after 4 hours of eating. It means you have eaten a tamasic food. If after eating within 4 hours, your stomach again feels very light, mild feels light, it means you have eaten a non-tamasic food. So the sattvic food items, seasonal fruits, ripe fruits, juicy fruits, the without hurting the animal, if you can take out milk, cow's milk, which the cow gives with love, care, and then making, ghee out of it, all that becomes sattvic. Rajasic food, as all these spices and things which are really tantalizing for the tongue. And then tamasic food. The one important thing comes here is that even if the sattvic food is kept for a long time, it slowly over a period of time develops tamasic quality. So one has to be careful about it. Now, why, to become sattvic? If my purpose is that I want to do a tamasic task or a rajasic task, so Krishna says that there is a hierarchy. Urdhvam gacchanti sattvasthaha. Sattva people will rise upward. Madhya tishtanti rajasa. Rajasa will remain where they are. Jaganya guna vrittistha adho gacchanti tamasaha. And the tamasic people will go down. Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says that it is like a tunnel. In the beginning, it is darkest, which is tamasic. Then you go towards little more light and dark together, which is rajasic. And then towards the end of the tunnel, when you see lot of light, is sattva. And then you get into the gunatita dimension after that. So spiritual progress, if it has to happen directly from tamas to gunatita, you cannot jump. From rajas to gunatita or transcendental, you cannot jump. If you want to feel the transcendental, you want to do transcendental meditation, you want to really experience your swarupa, you want to have that bliss coming within you when you meditate, then you have to go towards sattva. There is no other way. But if that is not your goal, you want to do what is your goal, then probably you can take diet and according to your goal, we do not mind. But if that is the goal, then this is the way the person has to go. In fact, in 9th chapter, Krishna says that if my bhakta, offers something with love, whatever that is, patram, pushpam, phalam toyam, yo me bhaktya prayachati, tadaham bhakti upuhat ashnami, prayatatmana. If my bhakta offers to me with love any, leaf, fruit, or even just water, I delighted by his bhakti, I also get filled with love for the bhakta, and I take it. I take it and I eat it because my bhakta has a very pure heart with which he is giving me. So here Krishna doesn't talk about, bhakta giving any non-veg kind of a food. He goes with very sattvic kind of a food which can be offered to God. If you look at Hatha Yoga Pradipika, then there is a chapter 1, verse 59. There is a list of food items that have been prohibited for a yogi who wants to grow in Hatha Yoga and Kundalini Sadhana and those higher dimensions of yoga. See, problem is people do not follow these advices, do not follow yamas and niyamas, and directly practice very high kind of Kundalini kind of meditation, and all of them end up in some kind of psychiatric problems. We see a lot of such cases coming to Nimans where they do advanced sadhana, seeing YouTube or through some guru who is not properly trained, and then do not follow these precautions, and then they land up in big troubles. So here also you see the mention of mamsa, dadhi, madhya. So curd, non-veg food, and alcohol, that they are among the food items that are prohibited. Even in the yamas, there is ahimsa is the first yama. So we have to be very careful with what we are doing just for the taste of our tongue. And there are these kind of niyamas given, and this goes in line with Patanjali also, who also puts ahimsa as the first yama. So dear friends, please contemplate on these thoughts. See, what that you want in life, and then eat accordingly, and I pray that all of you keep growing and keep moving towards sattva, towards Shuddha Sattva, and towards your real Swarupa. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Namaste, sir. Thank you, sir.